بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم نحمده تعالى وهو جل وعلا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, today is the 18th night of Ramadan, and inshallah tonight we will be covering the 22nd juz of the Holy Quran. Inshallah, as we discussed last night, we paused on the last verse of the 21st juz, and as I stated, we will inshallah cover it today. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, marriage and relationships is a very delicate topic. There is no one size fits all. When you talk about the rights of the women, the men feel that this is being taken out of context. And if you talk about the rights of the brothers, the women feel it's being taken out of context. The thing is that we have to all acknowledge that rights aside, we all have duties and obligations to Allah first. In a marriage, it isn't about you to the other, it's you to Allah first, acknowledging that this is my duty regardless if I get something in return or not from the other side. And this story actually highlights that. Again, we should never paint a picture as a people of faith, as leaders in faith, or even in our cultures that depict one side as a problem and the other side as a saint. This is not acceptable because every human being is accountable for themselves. If there is a marriage in which there is problems, then those problems need to be addressed. If those problems are of a nature that are not safe and helpful, then it goes to another level. One is the fact that basic needs are not being met, and there is some level of instability that causes one person to be concerned for their welfare. And there's another type where there is a lack of affluence and goodness, but there is some level of stability. When the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ migrated to Medina, one of the tests that he confronted was with his wives. And one day, apparently, some of the wives came to him and said that, this has been the norm for us, and there'd be an upgrade of, finances and things that we have in the house. Because, we've taken this on with patience for quite a while. And so, what happened was, long story short, the Prophet ﷺ left the houses. He left his wives. And soon the story spread in Medina that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ divorced his wives. A rumor spread. And there was a level of pain in Medina. People felt the Prophet ﷺ is in pain. He's left his family. His wives have left him. It was a state that no one knew what to expect and what to do. At that time, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala came to the house of Aisha radiallahu anha, and he admonished his wife, his daughter, and told her that, how dare you ask the Prophet ﷺ for more wealth? And of course, the story always, I don't want to say changes, it has a different picture to it as the word trickles. But ultimately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you guys could understand and sisters could understand the confusion that it must have stirred up in Medina, it was a really tough time. What we learn from this, brothers and sisters, is that family stability is critical for growth. If there's no family stability, there's no stability in our ummah. Financial stability is just one factor. We could have all the money, but if we don't have family stability, we won't have social stability. If there's no society stability, there's nothing for us. It's all fake. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then addressed the matter in the Holy Quran when He said in the 28th verse of this surah, قل لأزواجك إن كنتن تردن الحياة الدنيا وزينتها فتعالين. Allah said in such an honorable way. He didn't put them down. He said, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say to your wives, if they want the worldly possessions, come. I will give them everything they want. If that's what you want, and if that's what makes you happy, then I'll give it to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. And He's not putting them down. It's a very legitimate proposal. I'll give you whatever you want. وَإِن كُنتُنَّ تُرِدْنَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَالدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. But if you want Allah and His Rasul, if you want Allah and His Rasul and the afterlife, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala combined Him in the Prophet with the afterlife, where He compiled this world by itself. أُمَتِّعْكُنَّ وَصَرِّحْكُنَّ صَرَاحًا جَمِيلًا. I'll give you all the things, basically the bells and whistles. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. But the stuff that you'll get in this world, my dear brothers and sisters, will stay in this world. Remember these things. When we go down the path of materialism, it's quicksand. It sucks you in. It sucks you in and there's no way out. I remember Brother Irfan, who was one of the first family members we were close to in Fort Myers, Florida. His mom, grandma we used to call her, she used to tell us stories of how she and her husband raised children and they had half a house, like a shack. And they lived in it. There was no security for food or anything else, but she said there was love and there was happiness. You don't need more to bring happiness, brothers and sisters. And this story in the life of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is telling us that. Stop running after things and run to each other for the sake of Allah. Because that's where you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah is telling them in the other proposal, if you want Allah and Rasul and the next world, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared a grand reward for you. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen a very distinct honor. وَمَنْ يَقْتُلْ مِنْكُنَّ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا نُؤْتِهَا أَجْرَهَا مَرَّتَيْنِ. The wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they devote themselves and they do worship, Allah will give them double reward. Because they're Ummahat al-Mu'mineen and because they are struggling and they're making sacrifices with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that reward will be doubled. It's true what they say behind every successful man is a successful woman. Why? Because she is the backbone and she is that beam that holds down the fort so that there can be success. Khadija radiallahu anha was the first beam of support for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the rest of the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen followed. And it was because of their struggles and sacrifice. No doubt life wasn't easy. Life was difficult. Months would pass and there would be no food to cook. Today we open the fridge and say there's nothing to eat and there's leftovers from yesterday. There was nothing in the house of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nothing. Remember this. Nothing. This was the struggle that Ummahat al-Mu'mineen had to go through. But there was a reason behind the struggle. There was a scope in front of them as to why they were doing what they were doing and what the outlook is in front of the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these weeks that passed in Medina Munawwara were weeks that brought about pain, insecurity, instability, all because of the rumor that spread that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has left his wife. He left his wife physically, but he did not divorce them. And of course, the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen then made it clear that we chose and we selected Allah, His Rasul, in the Akhirah. And that is what they went with. We move on to the next verse, verse number 53, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us another etiquette. Etiquettes of life are being taught to us in the Holy Quran. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَدْخُلُوا بُيُوتَ النَّبِيِّ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْذَنَ لَكُمْ إِلَى طَعَامٍ غَيْرَ نَاظِرِينَ إِنَاهُ. See, sometimes we forget the person that we're interacting with is also human. I know it's hard sometimes, but this is what happens. Inshallah, I'll explain that to you on Monday. Alhamdulillah. You get text messages 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. If it's not life and death, it's kind of like, I love to sleep too if I can, So phone calls, text messages. I'll give you all the numbers. Alhamdulillah, every text message, every phone call is documented for the last 8 weeks. For the last 8 months, 38 weeks and counting. Alhamdulillah. But we forget that there has to be some buffer. The Prophet Muhammad would come to his house and people are just walking in, knocking his door. We have a question on Muhammad, and there would never be a time for him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proposed to give a sadaqah. If you want to go talk to Prophet Muhammad, give money. Now the Sahaba are like, we can't give money, what's this? So he created that understanding. Look, there's a time and there's a space, just understand. And in a similar fashion, when the Prophet Muhammad would invite people to his house, they would come in, they would look at the food, what's cooking today? He invited you, just come and sit down. What's on the menu today? And then after eating, they would sit around talking, and they heard the Prophet because, it's done, can you just leave now? But he didn't want to say it because تَسْتَحْيِي مِنْكُمْ. He felt shy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse. When you enter the Prophet's house, don't enter unless you've got permission and you've been invited for food without looking at the dishes. And when you're invited, enter the house. When you eat, get up and leave. غَيْرَ مُسْتَأْنِسِينَ الْحَدِيثِ. You haven't been called to make the Prophet's house a Starbucks. You can go Starbucks and talk, but here is you eat and off you go. إِنَّ ذَلِكَ كَانَ يُؤْذِي النَّبِيَّ فَيَسْتَحْيِي مِنْكُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَسْتَحْيِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ. Allah doesn't shy away from the truth. And when you ask his wife for something, ask them behind the veil. I.e., even when we have invitations, there should be a level of modesty in the home. Just because someone called you to the home, let me tell you two things, brothers and sisters. Stop telling people my home is your home. Mi casa, su casa doesn't work here. It ain't your home, it's my home. You don't just wander off to my master bedroom or upstairs and downstairs. This is my home, you just sit down here. End of story. Stop being so gullible. This takalluf has to go. The adami takalluf needs to go. This is my home, sit over here. You can't just walk around wherever you want to go in someone's house. If the Prophet's house is where you're being taught an etiquette that has to be replicated everywhere. If you want to ask something from the women's side, ask behind the hijab. Don't just walk into the kitchen. This is a cause of many problems in the long run. You don't see it happen today. It's fun today. It makes fun, if something you look back and laugh on, oh, we had a great dinner and stuff, watch down the road. This is what will cause problems. This is what will cause division in the community. So keep it straight. Don't beat around the bush. Follow the etiquette that the Quran is telling us. There's protection for us in this. There is life for us in this. There's goodness for us in this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, verse number 56 then states, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. We send durood and salam upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Once the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the Sahaba, who is a miser? Who is a miser? Kanjus kisko kehte hain? So they say, person who has wealth and he doesn't spend. No. The miser is the one in front of whom my name is mentioned and they don't say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Durood on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is important, my brothers and sisters. Akthiru salata alayya. Send salah on me as much as you can. A sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I pray for you. How much of my prayer should I make it durood on you? He said, whatever you wish. He goes, 1/3. He goes, that's good. If you want, you could increase. He said, half. He goes, it's good. If you can increase, that's fine. He said, I'll do the whole prayer salawat. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to near meaning, it will then alleviate your concerns and your worry. And it will help solve your problems. When you give salam and salawat to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the angels go to the Prophet and say that so-and-so, son or daughter of so-and-so gave you salam. If you keep on giving salam and your name is keep on being mentioned in front of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I ask of you, will he not recognize you on the day of judgment? The more you give salat and salam to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the more your name will be mentioned. And when you go and give salam to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in front of the Rawdah, he gives salam to you back. It's all from the hadith. It is very deep practice that we have for some reason misunderstood or taken out of context, or we feel it shouldn't be discussed. Every time you hear the name of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the least, the smallest, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should be saying salawat and salam upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as much as possible. May Allah not make us amongst the misers. Qulu ameen. Ameen. In Surah Saba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us about His bounties on His messengers. Verily we gave Dawood alayhi salam minna fadla, some bounties from ourselves. When he used to recite, the birds, everything would stand still. He had such a beautiful voice. And one of the beautiful things that Allah gave to Dawood alayhi salam in addition to his voice was He made hadid. What is hadid? Hadid, everyone? Iron, steel. He made it soft for him. He could actually mold it with his hands. The first one who worked with this material. And of course this continued to go to where it is today. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Sulaiman alayhi salam. He had control of the wind. Sulaiman alayhi salam is the son of Dawood alayhi salam. غُدُوُّهَا شَهْرٌ وَرَوَاهُهَا شَهْرٌ. His morning journey would be equivalent to a month's journey. And his evening journey would be equivalent to another month's journey. Allah gave him all this blessings to his father and to him. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give these blessings to them? To show to you and I that number one, the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be obtained through faith also. You don't have to discard your faith to gain from the world. Everyone hear me on this one. You don't have to put your faith on the side to become successful in the world. You can be successful through your faith. In actuality, that's the best long-term success. And number two, that when you have these worldly perks and blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will never take you away from Allah's remembrance so long you understand this came from Allah. If you don't know that this came from Allah, you will forget Allah very fast. And when you forget Allah very fast, Allah will leave you even faster. And ultimately, you will be left at the mercy of yourself. And I promise you, we all trip. May that trip not be something that hurts us in both the worlds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about the bounty He gave to Dawood alayhi salam and to Sulaiman alayhi salam. These are bounties that you reflect upon and say that if these were prophets and their faith drove them to gain these blessings and they utilize those blessings for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may we number one realize that our bounties and blessings come because of our faith. They come because of our faith. And they can only be beneficial to us so long we use them in the scope of our faith. Brothers and sisters, the question that if I tell my true name, or if I wear hijab, or if I grow a beard, or if I tell them I have to pray, may jeopardize my job. Hear me very clearly. May jeopardize my job. You need to reassess who is your sustainer. Because Allah will never put you on the streets and leave you to die. Allah will never put you on the streets and leave you to die. In a country where you have freedom of religion, brothers and sisters, we are not using it. And when we're not going to use it, it's going to go. And when it goes, then we'll cry. You have to be respectful in your workplaces, but you have to also claim your rights. You will sacrifice your lunch break, but then you will pray. You will go for Jumu'ah if it's not every week because the boss says it's not possible, every second week, but what you're going to do is you're going to work 2 more hours to make up for it. You're going to prove that your loyalty to Allah is first. Because of that loyalty, you can be loyal to your workplace also. Because without Allah, there is no loyalty. Without Allah, there's no respect of parents. Without Allah, there's no loyalty to one's spouse. Without Allah, there is no true parenting. Without Allah, there's no one who's going to be loyal to their employer. No one. You have rights in this country, my dear brothers and sisters. No one saying, go to one and say, hey, my name is Abdullah. I'm going to fast and I'm going to pray. If you don't let me, I'm going to call an attorney and sue you. No. Work with the people. Don't hide yourself. MashaAllah, I've been to some companies that I'm amazed at what's happening, and Allah knows. The first day of Ramadan, we were invited to Texas Instruments for the work that they're doing, and it's amazing work. Cultural diversity and religious understanding, and educating their workers and employees, allowing the employees who practice that faith to practice their faith, and other employees to learn about other employees' faith so that they can have a better bond and work together for the sake of the company. A lot of companies are doing this. Why? Because they know what's important to you is important to them. They will take care of what's important to you so you can take care of what's important to them. But if your faith isn't important to you, then what do you expect from the people? So this is what we're trying to understand here, that take the benefit of what you have and use it, don't abuse it. Tell the children when they take time off from the school to go pray their dhuhr, that they will never abuse it, because if they abuse it, everyone will lose it and it will be their fault. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an example of that in Surah Saba, of the people of Saba who had plenty. Fi maskanihim ayah. Their houses was a sign. They had houses with no mortgage, the best of houses, no bank loans, no property bills, no taxes, nothing. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. Their dwelling places was a sign. جَنَّتَانِ عَنْ يَمِينٍ وَشِمَالٍ. They had so much. They had food for today and they had reserves for tomorrow. What is Allah wanting from them? كُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِ رَبِّكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ. Use it and be thankful to Allah. But what did they do? Number one, they complained. Number two, they became ungrateful. Number three, they wasted. Number four, they disregarded those blessings. Allah sent a powerful storm, and Allah changed those gardens to bitter fruits and crops that were full of thorns, and that their dwelling places became a curse on them. Allah tells us this story, what? For be grateful. This month of Ramadan has taught us gratitude. Let us be grateful. Let us turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say to Him, Alhamdulillah. Oh Allah, we thank you. Truly we thank you for everything you've given us, because we couldn't have had this otherwise, and we'll never be able to keep this unless you allow us to keep it. Learn from these stories like in Surah Saba. Lastly, in Surah Fatir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how He is Fatir as-samawati wal-ard. He created the heavens and the earth without any design, without any materials, and Allah created it perfect. Say yes or no? Did Allah create the earth perfect? Yes or no? The sky, have you ever seen a tile fall off the sky and under construction sign? Did you ever see that in the sky? It's been perfect and flawless forever. This is what we have to look at and say subhanallah. And Allah talks about His creation of angels: 2 wings, 3 wings, and 4 wings. SubhanAllah, that's just mind-boggling. 3 winged angels. I'd love to see that, inshallah. I'm sure we'll all see that tomorrow, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, and we'll finalize with this, Ya ayyuhan nas, verse number 15, Antumul fuqara'u ila Allah, wallahu huwal ghaniyyul hamid. O humanity, you are poor and beggars to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are beggars. When you make dua, brothers and sisters, make dua like a beggar. That means you put your hands together, you raise them high, and put your head down. Don't make dua looking up like this. It's arrogance. This is arrogance. Put your hands together and look down. If you ever seen a beggar on the streets of New York or anywhere that puts their head down and puts their cup up, that's how we have to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are beggars. Allah saying, you are in need of me. I am a ghani. I need nothing. I'm the one who gives you everything. So remember, there's such a correlation between what happened with the wives of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to the etiquettes of how we treat one another, how we send salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Be grateful for his blessings, because those blessings should never be taken for granted, because the one who created everything without anything is the one who can give it to us, and He's the same one that can take it away from us, for we are beggars to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is the doer of everything. So inshallah, we will end with this. Surah Yasin will begin tonight, and inshallah I will discuss the story of Habib Najjar inshallah tomorrow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to bring these beautiful words of the Quran into our lives. Say Ameen. May Allah allow us to live by these words, to practice what these words are telling us, and to gain goodness in this world and in the next through them. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.